Thanks for checking out another clip of the Cashflow Contractor. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. Click subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You're losing your team if you're not leading your team. And so the solution is always going to be leadership. And leadership is making hard decisions. Leadership is coaching and guiding people through situations and showing them that you care. You lead with your time, right? Yeah. And so if you're having these problems, it's probably because you're not giving it the time and attention that it needs, and you're not really truly leading. And that, honestly, I don't blame you if you're in that position. I truly don't, because business is hard, especially if other things are going on in your personal life. It is very hard to lead because you just want people to do their job. I get it. But at a certain level, if you're going to be a business owner, you have to be in the business of leading people. And that's hard. So just know that. I'm not saying that this is easy. We may give you some simple solutions. It's going to be difficult. It's going to come at a cost. You're going to have to sacrifice time and energy and capacity and even money. But leading is what really solves these problems. Okay, so let's go to the second one. You may be losing your team if your best people stop pushing back, number 2. So example, your foreman, your lead carpenter, your lead team lead, whatever it is, used to tell you that, hey, schedule's not looking realistic, boss. Like, we really need to adjust the scope of work, or we need to adjust the schedule, or our bid is way too low. There's no way we're going to stay on budget. But now he just shrugs and says, hey, you're the boss. Basically stops caring, right? Yeah. Stops identifying the issues and bring them to your attention.
What's the cause of that? Somebody's lost interest in things. And it may be that they are distracted. They've lost interest. They're no longer engaged or thrilled by their job. Can be something like that. But it can also be perceived that what they say to you doesn't matter to you. And one way around that literally is whenever you're having meetings or you ask, what am I missing? Tell me. Show that you value their opinion and that you're willing to hear what they have to say. And not always, but frequently, the people that are closer to the work really do have some constructive ideas. Sometimes they don't. They don't understand.
Yeah, people want to be heard. And if you're not hearing them out and acknowledging that you've heard them and praising them for the good that they've done, it's a really easy way to make them feel like they don't matter and they'll stop caring. One other thing that I do want to mention, because sometimes it's actually not related to the poor scope of work or the terrible schedule that you have for the job and them not caring about it. It could be that you're not incentivizing them properly. Maybe they've asked for that raise for a long time and you've kind of swept it under the rug and you've always just kind of delayed it. Maybe, you didn't approve their time off request because it was really busy. Or, maybe you continue to put them in the bad truck that out of all the crews, and they've complained about it multiple times and they're always having issues with it. Sometimes they're not pushing back about something, but it's not about that thing at all of why they're not pushing back on it. It has something else entirely to do with it. And so it may not be that they're not being heard in other areas, essentially is what I'm saying. So make sure that you're dedicating time to listening to what's going on, to understanding what motivates them, to understanding what their priorities are and what their focus is, and guiding them through that. I think the best leaders are keenly aware of the needs of their people, personally and professionally. They know what their objectives are in life as well as in their career.
Another thing that kind of comes to mind is you're soliciting advice or soliciting, what did I miss, what you just said, and you listen to them. But you can also thank them publicly when they tell you something. Even if it comes up a little bit with attitude, like, chin forward. Well, you said you were going to do this, and by God, you didn't do it. And they're coming at you a little belligerent. You can go, you know what? You're right, if they are. I appreciate it, and thank you for bringing that to my attention. And you say that in front of people. There's that old adage that you praise in public and you discipline in private. But that praise in public goes a long ways toward buying goodwill.
Okay, So you may be losing your team if turnover is hitting your A players and not just the dead weight.
Yeah.
It is really hard when you lose an A player. And I mean, for a lot of our audience, they may have like, when we say A player, they're thinking of like one or two people.
Right.
Like we're talking about that. I was just talking to somebody the other day, like the project manager that's been with you, been there, moved up as your right-hand person all the way through, reliable. You can trust them with almost anything. You see them being a general manager at some point, maybe. And then they put a 2 weeks notice in. And there's no warning, there's no negotiation, there's no like, hey boss, like this is what's going on. That's hard.
It can be just totally devastating, just not just the workload, but that sense of, it's okay to say kind of a sense of betrayal, all those emotions that run through your mind. So, what the heck is going on?
And, I think what I most of the time see when this situation happens, they always go on to what is perceived, at least, as a better opportunity. Sometimes you can't control that as a business owner. Like I was talking to somebody that lost a PM to a client, and they were literally going to make double their salary. And he's like, I just couldn't, there's no way I can match it. Like, my margins aren't that good, and much bigger company and all that kind of stuff. And I think sometimes you can't control that, but sometimes you can, because it's not always just about the money. The last thing that you want to do is take someone who's extremely capable and not make them feel like they are progressively moving forward and forward. You don't want to be their ceiling, essentially.
I got a path for development, prize at the end.
And with those key people, like I would assume most of those people are going to be direct reports for you. Not always, but in the context of our audience, they're going to be like a direct report where you're like...
I agree with that, but I also think there are A players further down, that uniquely so well suited to their goal. But one thing that usually when they're that will mess you up every time is if your A players who are doing extra and thinking and contributing see you tolerating a C player. And I mean, we need to be aware that that is as damaging as somebody taking a hammer to the equipment.
Yeah. No, it's at least as damaging, potentially worse.
Your standards are reflected in what you tolerate. Boom.
Yeah.
And basically an A player who's watching you do that is contributing because that's who they are. But they're going to want to go places where, like you said, they see a path to development. They can see a distinction between me being this good and that guy being not this good. I have a path that he doesn't have.
Yeah.
Not competitive, but that I have a path.
Losing any A player is terrible, but when it's a lower level person, like an entry level position or a technician, it's awful, but it's not as damaging in the sense of like, this was my project manager who's running 5 current projects. That's a lot harder to replace, to find the right fit, all those kinds of stuff. Whereas a technician, yes, it matters. It's just not as damaging. How can you prevent that? If it's a direct report, you've got to be talking to them all the time. I mean, weekly one-on-ones minimum. You've got to be including them into planning, into strategy. You've got to find ways that you can utilize them more, because A players, in my opinion, and that's a really broad definition or vague definition, I guess, for most people, but someone that's truly setting your business up for success, you got to invest as much as you can into them, and you do not want to be their ceiling. And you're only going to know what they want to grow in, what they are capable of, if you're spending time with them.
Well, there's another thing too, and this comes up all the time, is pay them before they ask.
Yes.
If you've got somebody under the market or under what, it doesn't have to be what your neighbor's paying. If you would pay $10 more an hour to get that guy.
Yeah.
And you've already got him or gal.
Do it.
Pay the $10.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually have a mutual client who does that with one of his remote workers. He always gives them money before they ask.
Yeah.
But he's also is not an A player. He's an A plus player, and a rare commodity, a diamond in there, whatever you want to call it. But that is one of the strategies: is pay them before they ask.
Yeah, nothing makes them
I would never leave
feel better than, oh wow, they see me.
Yeah, they're putting their money where their mouths are.
Thanks for checking out a clip from the Cashflow Contractor. We have full episodes where we go deep on topics that help you grow a construction business that runs without you, so you can have less stress, more time, more money. Now, we've got other videos, other clips, but if you want to check out the full episode for this clip, you can click wherever our editor put it. It might be here, it might be there, it might be over my face, I don't know. But thank you for checking us out. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. So subscribe or check out a full episode wherever you get podcasts.